Can you hear me? Yeah. So, thanks for coming. Let me adjust it. This is the first time I'm coming here in Malaysia with a different t-shirt. Usually I'm here with a black Zone H t-shirt. But this year, as I was involved in this new project, some of you might be able to, you were able to read from the newspapers about this new project, which is related to an exploit marketplace. And so don't consider me Roberto Preatoni of Zone H now, consider me Roberto Preatoni of WabiSabiLabi, which is a separate project from Zone H, and they are not sharing actually anything. You don't find anything of WabiSabiLabi on Zone H and vice versa. The only link, actually, it's me. And my position in this new project as strategic director, it's a quite challenging position as since we started, and the baby there means that it's a fresh project. We started 2 months ago, and immediately we were expecting, of course, some attention, but not so much attention. We had newspaper interviewing us. Some of them, they were telling our project was great. It was just about the right time to do it. Some other, and we will see why, they were criticizing our project very much. We have been, we were capable to hit The Economist printed edition, Forbes. We have been approached by venture capitalists. So this project raised a big fuzz. And I wanted to come here to explain to you a little bit about it. Also because sometimes on the newspapers, you didn't read precisely the truth. Our, let's say, statements, they were reported in the wrong way. I don't know if with purpose or without purpose, but definitely it is a project that needs to be clarified. So what we want to do, it is to find as many interfaces as possible with the general public, like this conference, in which we will transfer our idea, and we are welcoming you actually to criticize the project in a constructive way, so that we might be able over the time to improve it. Now, what is it? It's an exploit marketplace. As you see from behind, we have an auction site, pretty much the same as eBay. And in this auction site, the security researchers are capable to put their own discoveries on sale to look for the better bidder. Why we did it? Well, think about yourself. You are here because you are somewhat involved into the security business, the security market. So my question to you, it is, do you agree with me, yes or no, that there is a security market and the market is big? Yes or no? Raise your hand. Yes? Okay. Now, the entire security market, it's based on the fact that there are vulnerabilities. No vulnerabilities, no security market, no security business. Roberto wasn't here. You weren't here. Without vulnerabilities, there is no need of security. So the assumption, the basic assumption behind the project, it is, if there is a big market which is totally based on the vulnerabilities, why the hell the vulnerabilities are not valued properly? This is an anomaly that must be corrected. It doesn't exist in any other field, business field in the world, such anomaly. Only in the software and in the hardware industry. We will see why such anomaly is existing, and we will see how the security researchers have been abused over the time by the industry. Now, you go on Wikipedia and you look for a definition of a market. What is a market? Let's take half a minute to read it. A market is a social arrangement that allows buyers and sellers to discover information and carry out a voluntary exchange of goods and services. It is one of the two key institutions that organize trade, along with the right to own property. In everyday usage, the word market may refer to the location where goods are traded, sometimes known as marketplace, or to a street market. The function of a market requires, at the minimum, that both parties expect to become better off as a result of the transaction. Markets generally rely on a price adjustment to provide information to parties engaging in a transaction, so that each may accurately gauge to subsequent change of their welfare. Now, let's highlight some words. Think about the security market today. Is it based on voluntary exchange between discoverers and buyers? No. You are forced, as a security researcher, to accept the rules dictated by the buyers today. There is no market. There is a location. Is there any location where the goods, the software, the vulnerabilities are traded? No. So we cannot call it a market. Are both parties expecting to become better off as a result of the transaction, relying maybe on price adjustments? No. There is a monopoly. The few organizations who are buying from security researchers are somewhat teaming up in keeping the price as low as possible. Let's not talk about the vendors who are not even buying at all. They want to get the work for free. We will see why. So, as none of these whereases are present today, we cannot really say that there is a market. That's why we were thinking, well, there is a need of a market, and we will do a market. And let's see what's going on. Now, a few words about the name, WabiSabiLabi. Some newspapers, they were writing incredible things on the name. Why did we call it WabiSabiLabi? Well, it's interesting. In Japanese language, wabi-sabi, it's the concept of the cycle of continuous improvement, which is never-ending. It means perfection never exists, but you can apply yourself to do better and better, typically Japanese. Such term, it doesn't exist in the Western culture. It's expressed only in Japanese. So we decided to take it from the Japanese. Wabi-sabi, which is this thing, it's the concept. Labi means laboratories, of course. As I am Rob, as a name, I wanted to call it WabiSabiLabi, but then our sales department started to scream, so we decided to go for the Labi. Now, you also have to think three-dimensionals. Do you understand that the security market is United States-centric? Why the hell? It's totally against the concept of the internet. Internet means globalization, no boundaries. So let's think three-dimensional. And one US guy working for a big security company told me, but you know, it doesn't mean anything in English, this thing. I say, so what? It means for Japanese. And after I'm explaining to you the meaning, now it means something for you as well. A bit of history. When security researchers started to look for vulnerabilities, in the early 90s, let's say, when the industry started, after they found the vulnerability and they got in contact with the vendor, usually what they got in exchange wasn't a thank you, wasn't a handshake, wasn't a beer. It was just a letter coming from the lawyer of the software producer saying, hey, don't do it again. We will do some bad things to you. Legal threats. Then in 1993, fortunately, the hacker community started to talk about the full disclosure. Okay, the vendors are threatening the researchers. Oh, we don't take any more contact with the vendors. From now on, we will inform the public about the existence of a vulnerability. Then the vendors, they are forced to produce patches. So we had, up to 2003, the full disclosure practice, but still some legal threats. And actually, personally, I remember in case of a Microsoft product. I was releasing an advisory in year 2003, and I got a letter from the lawyer, from Microsoft lawyer. Fortunately, it doesn't happen anymore. On the contrary, today Microsoft has moved in the opposite direction. Microsoft today, as personal experience, is keen to meet the hackers, to talk to them, and they're very much welcoming the improvement the hackers are bringing to their own product. Of course, they're doing it for free. Then from 2002 to 2007, some vulnerability purchasing projects started, like Tipping Point, iDefense, not very many. And only in 2007, an open marketplace appeared, which is WabiSabiLabi. Why we did it? First of all, if you are a security researcher today, before WabiSabiLabi, you are subject to the following things. Ethical blackmailing. You discover something, and then people that come to tell you, hey, this vulnerability is affecting an operating system which is mounted on 1.5 billion of computers. Do you understand how critical is this? You should give it for free. And shut up. Don't even dare to ask for a rewarding. Give it for free. Who is doing it? Who is telling you this? Usually the software producer. Or the concept is distributed through the press, which is lobbied. Not all the press, but some press. It's a lobbied press. There is a wrong set of laws. If you're doing security research, in most of the countries, you're a criminal. In Germany, since a few months ago, if you just possess a legal piece of software for penetration testing, you're a criminal. This law doesn't have any sense because all the security companies in Germany need to have security tools, which are hacker tools. They use it for good purposes. Nevertheless, they are considered by the law criminal. There is an abused de facto position. We have a monopolistic position where few vendors and few big security companies are dictating the rules, the behavioral rules. If you are a security researcher, the rules are these, and these, and you should behave as we want, not as you want. And the last point, which is the most important, there is a basic misconception of the security researcher's role. Hackers. Raul before was talking about hackers, and he was telling, well, the good hackers. Still, we are in the need to distinguish between good and bad hackers. Security researchers, those who are finding vulnerabilities, are perceived usually by the common press as bad guys because they're doing something they shouldn't do. How do you dare to put your nose in such operating system? You shouldn't. So we wouldn't like to use, and I will never use, under this project, the word hacker. I would like to use the right word, which is security researcher. There is no difference between the security researcher who is discovering a vulnerability in a certain operating system and the researcher in a chemical company who is discovering a drug for, I don't know, influence. They are scientists of their own matter. Of course, the hacker may be a little bit weird, no? Might be a bit fat, no? Long hair, a can of beer in his hand. This is the typical image the people they have about the hackers. But what they're doing is just pure research, and they should be treated in the same way. Now, think about any kind of researcher in the chemical industry. They're discovering a new drug. Maybe it's a medicine which is saving lives of millions of people. We are talking about lives here. Is anybody daring to say, hey, what did you just discover? It's saving lives. You should give it for free. Nobody. And it's commonly accepted. Sorry? You will tell me later.